Okay, Miss Nikki, Miss Corwin actually is your professional name. But let's jump right into it. What does a week in your life as a director of housing and education look like?
Well, I have two roles. Every week is not the same, which is kind of exciting for me because sometimes you do the same thing over and over again. You kind of get tired of it. But a typical week for me, because I have to split roles, I focus mainly on the housing part. So that is like the hugest part of my week, doing housing counseling in all aspects of what we do here. And then a little bit of my week is the education part, which is doing programs with kids and the schools and outreach and resumes and stuff like that.
What would you say helped you to get this career the most? Would you say it was education, or would you say it was experience, or combination?
Well, to be honest with you, it was experience. Before getting this role, I was actually working at the YMCA doing program coordinating there. And I actually had an after school program, and there were things that I started at the YMCA. So when I seen that this job was available, I actually thought I was underqualified for the job. And I kind of just applied just to apply. And I had an interview, and then I got hired. But a lot of the things that I did at the YMCA I actually do here, but like on a higher level.
So you applied in faith.
Right,
And you got
basically.
it. Okay, so what services do you in particular offer
Here. Huh. Okay, so long story short, it's pre and post home purchase education. I do housing counseling, budgeting. I help people with resumes, job search. It's a whole list. I could have
That's
brought
a
the list
lot.
with me. I know.
That's
We
a lot.
do children programming here as well, and adult programming. We have the summer youth program. We do fundraisers as well, so that will be our MLK breakfast. We have a New Lights program, which is a youth program as well.
That's awesome. So the list is long.
Oh yeah, it can keep going.
Yeah, that's good. Would you say it's open to like only a certain demographic, or anybody in the general public?
No, the entire family.
Okay.
I've worked with literally everybody in a family at once.
What would you say is the most rewarding and the most challenging part about your job?
Well, the most rewarding part is, I like to help people. And I guess when you see in the youth aspect, so when the young people come through the summer youth program, it's a career program and it helps them prepare, for the future. Then when you like ride through the drive-through of like Rita's or McDonald's or Burger King and you actually see one of them working,
Yeah.
it's like really exciting. It's like,
good.
oh wow, you were paying attention.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's good.
I think the most challenging for anyone is as much as you try to help everyone, you can't sometimes. And it gets a little discouraging. And sometimes you have to like pull your own personal emotions out of it. But for the most part, that's it.
So before we did this interview, before we got here, I actually asked you a little bit. We talked a little bit because you're a busy woman, so it's hard to get in your schedule. But you did tell me a little bit about yourself. So you did go to school, you went to college, but you said that you didn't finish.
Right.
And I thought that was interesting because you still beat the statistics and you're doing amazing. You're successful. But many times in this day and age, like a lot of people think if you don't go to school, you can't be successful now. But you are the complete opposite of that. So I thought we should dig more into that. So what would you say helped you to beat the statistics and still achieve success?
Well, first things first, let me say that I am like the hugest advocate for education. I think that everyone should experience it. I think everyone should go. Getting an education is a smoother ride, if I can say that. And I think everybody deserves it. The reason I didn't finish, and which I think a lot of people should understand, is there's a lot of reasons why people don't finish or people don't go. And the reason why I didn't finish, because one, back then, I didn't have the knowledge that I have now when it comes to financial aid and grants and scholarships. So not only was I a financial burden, but someone was actually sick in my family. So that added to. So look, and I didn't talk. I forgot the question. So how did I beat the statistic? Well, not to be churchy on
It's okay. You
to
can
go
be.
churchy on you,
We welcome it.
but you can't get a degree in favor. So.
Amen.
I do think that God has favored me in a lot of things in life, and a lot of things came to me. And I think that's how people kind of know that you're in the will of God is if it's coming easy, then it's the will of God. If you got to fight every single day, then you should probably reconsider.
Yeah,
So I don't
that's
know
good.
if I would say that I beat a statistic more than I say I was blessed.
Yeah, that's good. We'll take that. I like that answer. So before you became a director, what positions did you hold that helped to prepare you for now?
Well, before I became a director, I actually went to Edinburgh, and I left there and I started working at the movie theater.
Oh, really?
And I worked at the movie theater. Girl, I was there for so long.
I remember.
Never thought I was going to leave. But that is a part of that struggle. Because when I was there, I struggled. Like, I wasn't happy there. And it was a great place to work. It was fun. And it was perfect for that time in my life. But I was a manager at the time. So when I left there, then I started working. And I took a little break to not work at all. My mama was not having it. You was not about to lay around her house all day.
Okay.
And she going to work, and I ain't. So then I applied at the YMCA, and I was just, working the desk there. And then that's when the opportunity to become, program coordinator or manager came available.
Yeah.
And at some point I was the desk manager too. But they had an after school program in Farrell. And that actually was the reason I even went to college in the first place. I wanted to open up my own daycare.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What?
I quickly changed my mind when I got there. But that was you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to have my own daycare. So I was excited when I got to the after school program because that was right up my alley. So then we created our own programming down there and we did our own thing. And then that is what led me basically to where I am now.
I heard you said manager, you were a manager at some different jobs, and then that helped you to get to, you're a director now.
Yes.
So I like that you said that because it makes me think that even if you are a manager at say Burger King, I used to work at Burger King, that can actually help to stimulate your resume.
Right.
And get you into a position later on. So
yeah, absolutely. And every job is important. From the janitor to the CEO.
True. So what advice can you tell someone that may not be interested in college and doesn't want to go?
My advice to them would be, so you graduate from high school and they have what they always had, but I know nothing about, is a gap year. And if you are not interested, because some people school is not their thing.
Yep.
They can't focus. They have ADHD. They have all these disorders that will allow them not to focus, and a financial burden. I mean, there's barriers of why you can't go to college, but there's also ways to get around those barriers as well. But for someone who absolutely says, you know what, school's not my thing, I don't want to go, I would suggest taking some time to figure out what you want to do with your life, because there's other things that you can do. There's certificates you can get. There's a ton of ways around anything that you actually want to do in life, that you don't have to sit in a class for 4 years. It's not for everyone.
How do you feel about putting yourself in rooms where you may not always be the smartest or advanced there? Because it happens to all of us.
Oh, well, and I don't want to sound cocky, but every room I walk into, I belong in.
Yes.
At every table I sit at, I'm bringing something to the table.
Okay.
So there'll never be a day where I walk in a room or sit at a table that I feel like somebody's smarter or they know more, because I know my value. So, that's all that I focus on is my value.
Yeah.
So when I show up to the table, my value is what I focus on. I will never be in a room that I don't feel like I belong in.
Yes. How long did it take you to find a career you really, really enjoy? Well, you kind of touched on that. How long did it take you to really realize you were in purpose?
Well, and I'm still walking in that. I mean, I was always the child that was bored. That my family would tell you that was my signature line. I'm bored. I'm bored. But because of that, there's so many things that I can do. And I think when people think of careers and education, that it defines who they are. That stuff doesn't define me. I can do a lot of stuff. I make candles. I sell Mary Kay. I feel like not only am I the director of housing and education, but I'm an entrepreneur. So good. There's things outside of, hey, there's the housing and education director that defines who I am and what I can do. I'm still walking because I don't feel like this is my final stop. No. And I don't think anybody should be comfortable where they are, because I feel like when you get in a position where you feel like that's it, it's time for you to retire.
Yeah. That's good advice right there. Never stop moving.
Right.
How do you feel God has shown you were going in the right direction?
And I will not say it was easy, because it was not easy, but it worked out. And I think sometimes we get caught up in, you stay at a job, you're miserable, they don't pay enough, you're struggling to pay bills, but this is all you feel like you can do. I'm kind of different when it comes to that, because I'm always looking for the next thing. So if I try something and it doesn't work out, I feel like it wasn't meant to be. And I feel like God opens doors for things that belong to you. Like, every door is not your door. And I only walk through the ones that are mine.
Okay.
I do not want to be in nobody else's lane. I got my own.
Nope.
Right.
You answered that.
Okay.
So what's one piece of advice you wish you could give to your younger self?
Explore more. I think I would tell my younger self to take my time and to figure out what I'm really passionate about and what I really enjoy. I'm fortunate enough right now to be doing what I enjoy and what I'm passionate about. But on the way to here, I did a lot of stuff. Like, I have a ton of hobbies. Like, at some point, girl, I was making jewelry. I don't even wear jewelry.
What?
Yeah, I could make earrings,
Wow.
necklaces. Look, there's just a ton of things that I can do. And it was fun.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. But to explore and not to give up. And I was in that place when I was younger. Like, I graduated from high school. I had to go to college. I wish that I could have told younger me to take that gap year and figure out what you want to do. I could have got a certificate. I could have been a real estate agent. I could have been a ton of things had I taken that moment. And I would have told my younger self to join the programs that the Urban League has, like the Summer Youth Apprenticeship Program, which promotes young people to look for a career, to see what, your career. Maybe you wanted to be a doctor because that's all you've seen in your family is a bunch of doctors. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe you should look for something else. So I would tell my younger self to research more. And I wouldn't change much for my journey. I actually have fun in everything that I do.
I know you do. Okay, so we're almost to the end. So I know to be a director, you need to be able to put your foot down and have a voice. So how did you grow your voice and begin to gain respect from others?
I think you teach people how to treat you. And I don't think having a voice has ever been my problem. So I kind of say what I got to say and we keep it moving and respectfully. Let me say that. I say what I got to say respectfully and we keep it moving. And I think in this stage of life, especially for me, because I'm pushing 40, I know, I say it, and
well, you look good, so I didn't know.
I appreciate it. It's all the lighting.
Oh my goodness, you and this lighting.
But yeah, like I don't think I have to demand it from anybody. I mean, and you also gain respect.
Okay, this is the last question. Is there anything you want people to know that we didn't talk about?
I mean, I do want people to know, like, oh, yeah, and I plan on going back to school because I always got to have something to do.
Oh, right. Yeah. Good.
So, and I do want people to know that, like, school's not for everyone. Find your passion. Make it work. I mean, my brother always wanted to drive trucks. Yep. And at 38 years old, he got his license to be a trucker. It's like, it's never too late.
I like that you included the age too, because it don't matter how old you are.
No.
You can always start something new.
I mean, and it's harder if you put it off and life happens, but it's up to you. Like, you start when you want to start.
Yes.
And you find a way. I don't care if you get a certificate. I don't care if you was there for 4-year degree, master's, whatever it is. There was 2 things that I was always taught. Common sense ain't common, and you can't get a degree on common sense. That's number 1.
That's good.
And number 2 is there's absolutely nothing in this world you can't accomplish if you put your mind to it. Sometimes it takes a little work. I stand on both of those things. My circle helped me. My family, very supportive. Those are things you watch for when you're growing up that you don't really know when you're younger. Watch your circle, be around people who support you. And life and death is in the power of the tongue. So whatever you speak is going to come back to you.
Yes.
And I always
Bingo.
speak life.
Well, that concludes our interview. I'm so happy that you decided to join us and fit us into your schedule.
No, I'm happy to be here.
But this has been awesome. I hope that it has helped a lot of people. It's going to help a lot of people, even if it's just 1 or 2 people that watch this. I just want to encourage you to keep going and keep inspiring. You inspire me, and I was happy to hear your story. So that's a wrap, y'all. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye.